Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, guys. Celtic Warband here, and thanks for tuning in to another how to install video. This one concerns the Italian Wars mod for Medieval 2 Total War. And before we begin, I've been having issues when recording in full screen mode with Bandicam where I kind of get this tinny feedback in my voice. It doesn't happen during my gameplay videos, but it does happen during my how to installs, so I'm trying to talk a little bit more quietly to see if it doesn't exacerbate the issue, but I do apologize ahead of time for that kind of tinny feedback. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what that's from. But anyways, again, this is for the Italian Wars mod, and it actually was released back in 2011, but a couple of months ago he released kind of the end result of his mod. Now, he does say that it isn't finished, but this is about 7 years in the making that he has been working on this mod. There have been a number of people that have been working on it as well with him. But it basically explains in this story here that he has some other work, or he's actually about to have found a company, so congratulations. But he just doesn't have any more time to work on this mod at this time, so he's basically just dropped the files on August 31st, the pre-release Part 1, Part 2, and the sounds, so that we can play it in its entirety. So I don't think it is completely finished. There is still a little bit more that does need to be done, but I think this is as finished as it ever will be. So just keep in mind there probably will be a few bugs, and they probably will not be fixed because it sounds like he's done with this mod. However, I have played a few hours of this mod because I had actually never heard of it, and it's phenomenal. He's added a ton of new units and a complete custom campaign with a custom campaign map. So I actually might consider doing a Let's Play in the Italian Wars very shortly when maybe one of my other campaigns comes to a close. So yes, enough rambling for me. We've come here to show you how to install. So basically, you just have to go to ModDB. Well, actually, I wanted to say something about ModDB. Actually, in the Italian Wars, you can see that we've got the pre-release Part 1, Part 2, and the Sounds mod here. But if you go over here to the Part 1 and scroll down, you can see that a lot of people are having problems with this papal coronation error. Papal coronation. There's papal coronation issues here. Papal coronation. This is a separate error. Oh, no, papal coronation. So this is a very common error, and I also ran into this problem as well. And I basically think that it comes down to how he uploaded these to ModDB. I believe one of these files has become corrupted. So for once, I'm not actually going to be able to show you how to download it from ModDB because it does not work. However, if you look down in the comments, he has dropped the Total War Center link, which I will be going to very shortly to show you how to download from the Total War Center, because they actually do work on the Total War Center. They just do not work in the ModDB. So we'll have to use this, but I'll try and remember to put a link in the description down below. But if we come up here, a couple of things. I always like to do a bit of house cleaning before we start the procedure. Make sure that you do own Medieval 2 Total War plus the Kingdoms DLC. You're going to need both of them. This should work on Steam and non-Steam versions, but if you do have a non-Steam version or a CD version, just make sure it's the Medieval 2 Gold Edition. The Gold Edition is the one that has the Kingdoms DLC in it, because this mod has been built off of the Kingdoms expansion, so it will not work for just vanilla Medieval 2 Total War. So you need to make sure you have both. And if you don't have a ton of mods installed like I do, you can see that I've got a ton of mods, so I really don't do this. But I really highly recommend that you uninstall Medieval 2 and reinstall it, and make sure that you have a fresh installation of Medieval 2 plus the Kingdoms DLC, just to make sure that there's no bugs in the current version that you have, and it'll probably save a lot of headaches down the road. But anyway, so we're not able to use the ModDB version. That was the #1 issue with people that were approaching me saying that they couldn't download this mod. It was because they were using the ModDB version. So the TotalWarCenter.net. Again, I will leave the address in the description if I can remember. But basically, we just have to scroll down here, and then you can see the download files. Now, for ModDB, there were only 2 files plus the sounds, making 3, but here there's actually 5. I believe the reason for that is because the Total War Center doesn't allow you to upload as large of file sizes as ModDB, so he's actually had to split it into 4 plus the sound mod. So you basically just have to click on all 4 of these. I'll just open in a new tab here. And then they will come up on the screen, and you just have to click download and download anyways on all of them. And you will see them start to populate in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. And I always recommend for you guys that you use Google Chrome. It seems to be the best for downloading mods. I've had some people that have had issues with downloading them on Internet Explorer and Mozilla Firefox. So if possible, just use Google Chrome. Again, eliminating a lot of the issues that you may come across. But you can see that they are all downloading in the bottom here. Make sure there are 5 total. And for yours, guys, the sounds mod, it will not have the parentheses in 1 here. It's because I've already have these downloaded, so I'm basically downloading a second copy. So I'm going to go ahead and stop all of those, but you guys can pause the video here, and when your files have finished downloading, then we will continue on. But there we go. So I've finished all those. Let's just go ahead and close all of these here. Don't need that. And of course, you guys will need WinRAR or 7-zip or WinZip to be able to extract the software here, especially the sounds folder. You can see that mine has the 3 books with the belt around it, meaning that it's an archived, it's basically archived data, and you will need a extraction software to unpack that into your Medieval 2 mods folder. But now that we've got all the folders here, and they're all in one folder so that you aren't going to lose them, you just have to double click on the exe. And if yours doesn't have the logo here, which it should, but if it doesn't, just look at the file. You can see that it says .exe. That is the executable file that will launch the installer, basically. So we'll double click on that. And now we've got the installer, and we just have to hit next. And we've got some credits here next. And for most of you guys that have it installed on your C drive and are playing the CD version, so this is for non-Steam users, this will be the correct file pathway. Reason for that is because you can see that there's a Sega folder here. So for non-Steam users or CD users, the pathway is local C, program files 86, Sega, Medieval 2 Total War, mods, Italian Wars. Now for Steam users who have it installed on the C drive, you're going to go to PC and local C, program files 86, Steam, down to Steam apps, common, and then this will bring up all of the games you have installed on your C drive, and you'll just click Medieval 2 and then click on the mods folder. You can see that I don't have too much on my local C drive because it's a solid state drive, so it's quite small. I only have the games that I really play the most on here. So we'll go ahead and back out of that. But for Steam users who have it on the C drive, that's the correct pathway. For me, I've got it on a different hard drive. I've actually got it on my G drive. So I've got to go G, Steam games, and then it's the same pathway. Steam apps, common, and then scroll down here. Medieval 2, and then don't click to open the mods folder here because it's gonna, it does this weird thing where it installs it mods, just click on it, but just don't open it like that. And then double check when it changes the pathway that this is going to be correct. If you don't double check this and you click next right away and this is wrong, it will install it somewhere where you will never find it. So make sure that this is correct. So I've got Steam apps, common, Medieval 2, Total War mods. And then what I want to do, because it didn't populate for me, is to just add the Italian Wars. Oops. I think that was what it said there. So I'm going to go ahead and click next. Does not exist. Do you want it to be created? Yes. And there we go. And start. And now this takes a few minutes. I'm not going to make you watch all of this, but just make sure that it downloads correctly. If it freezes or has to exit, what I recommend that you do is to close it, delete all of your files, and then re-download them from the Total War Center. But we will be back once this is just about finished. Alright guys, we are back, and I just moved the install screen down just a bit so that you could see that the Italian Wars folder has populated in the Medieval 2 Total War mods folder. So you should check to make sure that that's where it's gone. If it's not here, what you're probably going to have to do is re-download it and check your install pathway, because it might not have gone into the correct folder. A lot of times, sometimes, that's redundant, but a lot of times you will make an error and just not click on the mods folder or back out of it, and it will actually end up in your Medieval 2 Total War folder. So that would be the first place I would look. But that is finished, so go ahead and click Next and exit. And for those of you guys that do have the moddb files, it will pause on 8%, or it will lock out at 8%, because that's where the papal coronation is. So I think that's the file that has been disrupted on moddb. But for the Total War Center, no problems there. So all we have to do now is open the Italian Wars and make sure that this looks correct for you. And the last thing we have to do is add in the sounds. So all we have to do is open the data folder, and you'll see that it's missing the sounds file. It should be right in this area. So what we have to do is double click on the sounds rare here and extract to. Or actually, we don't even have to really do that. We can just grab and drag it over into this folder here, and it will drop the sounds folder right where it should be. The sounds for Medieval 2 is a very, very large folder, so what some mods do is just keep the sounds folder as a separate file and then drop it in that way, because otherwise it makes the main file a massive file, like 2, 3, 4 gigabytes. And there we go. Pops right into the data folder. That's all we need there. So we can go ahead and close that. And this is the executable. This is what we will use to launch the game. So I'm going to change over my recording software here, and I will see you inside the Italian Wars mod. Alright guys, so welcome to the Italian Wars mod, and let's go ahead and jump into a campaign real quick. I always like to prove that my installation videos actually work, but yeah, this is the custom map that I was talking about here. It's pretty expansive. You can see that we've got France over here in the corner, and we've got Milan, a lot of good factions here, Venice, Spain, Holy Roman Empire is even in it, but Genoa and Florence are probably the most colorful, just because they're right in the heart of northern Italy here. You can see that the Spanish, though, actually owning quite a bit of territory in southern Italy. But let's just go ahead and jump in as Genoa here and make sure everything's correct there. We'll just run through a few turns just to show you that there's no end turn crashing or whatnot. And there we go. So we have loaded in, and we've got a couple of things here we can just say yes about. Yep. Just close all these here, not important. But yeah, so here we go. So we're the Republic of Genoa. We've got one settlement here, it looks like, and a few forts surrounding it. But we'll just go ahead and move around, maybe discover a little bit more of the map. Here we go. So it looks like I believe that is Florence. And let's see if we can get a battle as well, just so I can prove that that works to you. Let's move over towards these guys. And that should be fine. So let's go ahead and end the turn. And I'm sure most of you guys saw that it does take quite some time for the campaign to actually load in, so don't worry. Sometimes that is a glitch on Third Age Divide and Conquer, where you'll click Start for the campaign and just nothing will happen, or it will send you back to the main screen. But never fear with this mod, it just takes a little bit of time. I think we're already... Oh, no, we're not. Oh, that was even closer. That's all right. Let's go ahead and grab a ram there, and... Oh, my goodness. That was a misclick if I ever saw one. And another end turn. And they could actually come out and face us because I don't really have enough. No, we're good. There we are. Does that take... Oh, 90% complete. Okay. Another end turn. There we go. But there is actually a lot to this mod as well. You can see that I did go quite negative here. It's because it actually costs you money to siege other settlements, especially outside of your territory. So you really have to kind of save up a bit of a bank. And another thing I've noticed is that if you do kind of leave your settlements with a minimal garrison, that rebel armies spawn up quite frequently. But I really love how he's added in a bunch of these forts here, kind of making like Fortress Genoa. But anyways, we'll just jump into a battle real quick, just to show you that that works as well, and then we can end the episode. And just FYI, I think the people who are working on this mod, so that's why a lot of these are German. But there we go. So you can just start the battle. Let's move the ram forwards. There we go. The Italian Wars mod successfully installed. And as I said, I'm kind of interested in doing a Let's Play in this. So if you guys are interested, let me know down in the comments below if you'd like me to do a Let's Play. And also maybe what faction you would like to see. But everything looks good. Don't really need to show this off to you guys. I think you guys can see that it is working. So yeah, that's another install video finished. I think a couple other people have requested other mods, but I'm less inclined to do mods that are non-Total War. A couple people have requested some Crusader Kings how to install for mods of that nature, and I'm not really familiar with Crusader Kings 2. I can definitely take a look at it for you, but by all means, if you guys have any other mods that you would like me to show you how to install, especially ones that concern Total War, I am all ears. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this in the future. And as always, I will see you in the next one.